Remember all the criticism and lack of luck that the New Orleans Saints received for their 2025 draft class? Well, Kellen Moore and Mickey Loomis are laughing now because they won the award for the best draft class in the 2025 NFL draft from inside the league. This is voted on by NFL scouts and administrators, and it's actually the second time that the New Orleans Saints have won this award. They won it back in 2017, the first year that they gave this honor out. So shout out to the New Orleans Saints, and if you're fired up about this, hit the thumbs up icon and drop a like on today's video. So as we pointed out, the New Orleans Saints obviously crushed the 2025 NFL draft. So in 2026, we're going to dive into why they crushed the draft and what they need to do to stay hot and continue this momentum into 2026 NFL draft here at the end of April. Thanks so much for watching Saints Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Trace Gerard. Let's start this thing off by the draft picks the New Orleans Saints made last year. Now, I think that the Saints made a lot of smart decisions, but two of them were franchise-altering. Kelvin Banks as the left tackle, he has been absolutely awesome. He was the best offensive lineman in the 2025 class in his rookie campaign. And Tyler Shough, the quarterback that everyone made fun of. Everyone overlooked this pick. Everyone dogged the New Orleans Saints for taking him over Shedeur Sanders, and it was a head-scratcher for quite some time, but once he took the field, he showed why the New Orleans Saints invested in him 40th overall. But I don't think that this stops with just the first two selections the New Orleans Saints made back in 2025. I think there's a handful of players that have very bright futures in the black and gold. Jonas, Sanker, the safety out of Virginia, he was absolutely awesome whenever he started off in special teams and got more run on the defense. Danny Stutsman, in the limited sample size we saw, he was an incredible force on the defense, and I'm excited to see him blossom in year two. Quincy Riley stepped up in a big way as a starter as a cornerback, taking over for Isaac Yiadom. And Devin, Neal, due to injuries, he got thrown into the starting lineup, and I think that he was more than serviceable, and I think that he was a player that showed a lot of promise. It's no question. Kellen Moore and Mickey Loomis, they nailed the draft in 2025. You walked in with 9 picks. You walked out with 9 players. You didn't do anything stupid. No trade up, no trade backs. You didn't move any players or anything. You got a ton of contributors. You filled positions in need, and you got better. And you got pillars for this team and those franchise guys we talked about with Kelvin Banks and Tyler Shough. Here's what Mickey Loomis had to say on the 2025 class at the end-of-year press conference. All these guys have really stepped up and have done a great job. They've been professional about the way they've approached their craft. Even Vernon Broughton, who we didn't get a chance to see a lot of because he got hurt pretty early. I think we're excited about his prospects. So I think it's cool. Even Vernon Broughton, a third-round pick that the New Orleans Saints made, and he was actually the first third-round pick that they made ahead of Jonas, Sanker. I even was like, what the hell is this? Like, why are we doing this? It feels like a reach, but the Saints are excited about him going into his second year. He was sidelined due to a hip injury for the entire season, and so with Vernon Broughton, I think that he has a bright future taking over for Devon Gotcha as a run stuffer. I'm really eager to see what the New Orleans Saints rookie class from 2025 has in store for year two because I expect big leaps in terms of their development from year one to year two. Don't miss any Saints updates. Make sure you subscribe to our channel, but don't forget to turn on your notifications, hit the bell icon, and set them to all. That way you never miss anything when we put out shorts, when we put out daily videos, or if we go live on the channel. You don't want to miss out on the fun, so make sure you subscribe. Turn on your notifications. If you're part of the Golden Gang, get down in the comments and let me know. Now, coming up, we're going to talk about how the New Orleans Saints can crush the 2026 NFL Draft. They created a lot of momentum last April. They finished the season on a high note. And now it's time to take that momentum into this offseason and continue the dominance that the New Orleans Saints have had in terms of their rebuild. First things first, let me thank today's presenting sponsor, and that is Prize Picks. I love Prize Picks. You'll love Prize Picks. And if you miss making money while watching your favorite teams play, well, guess what? Prize Picks doesn't stop when the football season ends. You can put down Prize Picks selections on football, basketball, UFC, soccer, college basketball, tennis, golf, esports, and hell, even the combine you can put Prize Picks down on. Download the app today. Use promo code CLNS. You'll get $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. I am addicted to Prize Picks because not only does it help me turn my ball knowledge into cold hard cash, it's a really fun way for Maddie and I to have some interactive ways to watch sports and try to get some more date nights. What we like to do is we like to make Prize Picks lineups just like the one we're going to show on your screen, and if it hits, then we go out on a date. If it doesn't, and oh well. And guess what? We went on quite a few dates last football season. So not only does Prize Picks have game-by-game projections, you can also go to these season-long ones as well. Chris Olave more in his receiving yards, Tyler Shough more in his passing yards, and I am the #1 Falcons hater, so I'm going to take the less on anything that has to do with the Atlanta Falcons. I will not say that's probably not a good idea, but who cares? I'm a Saints fan through and through, and I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. You can too at Prize Picks. Download the app. Use promo code CLNS. You'll get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. You can click the link in the comments or description of this video to get started today. Shout out to Prize Picks, where it's always good to be right. Use that promo code CLNS to take advantage of the deal. $50 in lineups after you play your first $5. Now, for the New Orleans Saints, off-season needs. These are not limited to just the draft. You can talk about free agency. You can talk about trades. You can talk about any way to add to the roster when it comes to the needs. The biggest ones, in my opinion, interior offensive line, offensive weapons. I'm talking receivers. I'm talking running backs. I'm talking tight ends. Defensive line, you could use some edge rushers. You could use some interior guys. Secondary, I wouldn't mind some depth in that area. I wouldn't mind a little bit of linebacker depth as well. And honestly, if you have the opportunity to go get a high-level guy as a safety, why the hell wouldn't you go and add him to your roster? Now, I do think free agency is a very important part to remember here. The Saints can address a lot of needs in free agency, but in terms of the draft, you do have 8 selections that you should expect to use in April. Obviously, the New Orleans Saints can make some trades and move some of these picks around, but you got 2 picks for Rashid Shaheed from the Seattle Seahawks, number 132 and number 170 overall in round 5 and in round 4. Obviously, if the numbers are wrong on that, just it's a 4th and a 5th round pick. I am 99% positive this is right, but sometimes things get twisted in the math. But either way, you have a first round pick, a second round pick, a third round pick, 2 in round 4, 2 in round 5, and you have a 6th round pick as well. And on top of that, you should get that comp pick for Paulson Adebo. All in all, the New Orleans Saints can address a lot of needs. You have 8 picks walking into the draft. Go bring me 8 players. Why wouldn't you follow that strategy like you did last year? You need to get younger. You need to get cheaper. You need to hit on these draft picks. And I think that you can focus on raising the talent level and bringing in explosive playmakers that can make a high impact early if you address free agency if you address the offensive line in free agency, specifically the interior. You need to improve your guards. You need to consider bringing in some center depth. If you bring back Luke Fortner, then you don't necessarily need to, but the guard position specifically needs an upgrade, whether you're replacing Cesar Ruiz or bringing in somebody else to take over as you traded away Trevor Penning. Dylan Radins is a free agent as well. I think the Saints need to upgrade the interior offensive line because that will help in terms of the passing game, it'll help in terms of the rushing game, and that'll overall help the New Orleans Saints as a whole. But in round 1 specifically, don't overthink it. You do not need to reinvent the wheel with the 8th overall pick. The goal, by the way, should not be to have top 10 picks every single year. The goal should be picking at the very end of round 1 because you're going on these late runs in the playoffs. Draft the best player available, regardless of position, regardless of what you think the biggest need is. Take the best player on the board. Don't overthink this. The New Orleans Saints are in no position to be picky about who they take in round 1. You do have a handful of needs, but none of them are more important than bringing in playmakers. None of the needs the New Orleans Saints have are more desperate and more immediately need to be filled than increasing the talent level on the roster. You need offensive help. You need defensive help. You need guys that can make an immediate impact. If any of these guys are on the board at number 8, I am happy with the selection. I don't care who it is on this list. If it's Carnell Tate, if it's Jeremiah Love, it's Mekhi Lemon, Reuben Bain, Caleb Downs, any of these guys realistically could be on the board at number 8 overall. And if any of these guys are the pick, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm a happy camper. I would be more happy if it was a guy like Jeremiah Love or a Mekhi Lemon. But if it's Caleb Downs, I'm thrilled about that. That means our defense is so beyond set, it's not even funny. That if you get Reuben Bain, You get a great defensive lineman who can learn potentially from Cam Jordan for one more year and play alongside Chase Young and really develop into a fine pass rusher and a great defensive lineman. If you go and get a wide receiver, awesome. Gives Tyler Shough another weapon. Gives another running mate to Chris Olave. Takes some pressure off the rest of the receiving room. But after round 1, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. You get to just keep doing what you're doing. But not in the sense of like Andy Dalton throwing multiple pick sixes. Draft the best player available in rounds 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You don't have a 7th round pick, but if you get one, draft the best player there too. Address weaknesses. Improve the depth. You don't need to be limited to just bringing in offensive linemen. You don't need to just go and get a bunch of receivers. You don't need to just get a couple of linebackers. Like, spread out the usage of your draft picks. Get some guys that are going to be contributors day one. Get some guys who you can develop and you can turn into the weapons that you want them to be. But the most important focus is increasing the talent level, making your roster better, and filling out the Kellen Moore vision. Let him cook. Let Kellen cook. Let Mickey cook. They did a great job. They deserve their flowers. They deserve the shout-outs. They deserve the love that they got by having the best draft class and getting an award for the best draft class in 2025. You had the runner-up in the Offensive Rookie of the Year. You have your perennial left tackle. You have Taliesin Fuaga as your right tackle. You got weapons. You got defensive playmakers. You got guys who can be contributors for a long time. You got a lot of focal points filled out. Let's take this momentum into 2026. Shout out to the front office, Mickey Loomis and Kellen Moore. They deserve credit. They deserve love. And for what it's worth, I know that Mickey Loomis is not the most popular guy amongst Saints fans. But I'll tell you what, this regime and this era of Saints football is off to a great start. And if things continue in this trajectory, then Mickey Loomis will be around for quite some time. And if things continue to get better and we go win a couple of Super Bowls and we get really competitive, we're back on top of the division, I could care less who the general manager of my football team is. I just want to win games. If we start winning, we stop calling for Mickey Loomis's job. So, Mickey, go and protect your job. Kellen Moore, continue to build this thing out, and let's get back on top of the NFL. Appreciate y'all for rocking and rolling with us here on Saints Now by Chat Sports. My name is Trizzy Trace Gerard. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Turn on your notifications and hit me up on social media. Y'all stay golden. We'll see you next time.